Hi, my name is Reese, and in this video, I want to show you the UGREEN PowerRoam 2200 portable power station in case this is something you might be interested in getting. I want to cover the features and specifications of this unit, and it does have some features that I haven't seen before in a portable power station. I want to talk about charging, discharging, and do some tests. I want to show you the app, and then finally, I want to wrap it up with some of my thoughts on this unit. Okay, so in case you don't know what this is a portable power station. What that means is that inside of here is a battery. It is rated for 2,048 watt hours of storage capacity. It has a number of DC outputs, which I'll go over, and then it has 6 regular 120 volt AC outlets. Now, one of the things that I use to determine what category a power station fits in is, can it run my full-size refrigerator? Because if it can, then it goes into the category of backup power for your home, because you can keep your food cold in a power outage. And this AC inverter here can have an output of 2,400 watts of continuous output with a surge of double that. And my refrigerator, which is a full-size refrigerator for a family of 7, takes about 2,500 watts of surge power to get started, and then maybe only 100 or 2 watts of continuous power to keep going. So what this means is that this unit could not only run one refrigerator, it could run multiple refrigerators. So this is a good candidate for power backup in case of a power loss at your home. Let's do a quick tour of the unit. This is the front. One of the first things that caught my attention, and it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine, is USB-C ports on a portable power station. And what caught my attention was this one has 4. I have never seen 4, and I've been telling these manufacturers, put more USB-C ports in your power stations, and UGREEN has, I didn't tell them that, but they actually put this in, and I was surprised to see it. And not only that, you get different wattages. So these two are 45 watts. This one is 100 watts power delivery, and I've never even seen this before, where it has a USB-C at 140 watts. And to give you a sense of what can plug into this 140 watt USB-C port is this MacBook charger. This came with my 2021 MacBook Pro, and this USB-C output is a 140 watt output. And so I can plug my laptop really into any of these, but if I want the fastest speed to recharge my computer, I can just plug it in here. Over here there are 2 fast charge 22.5 watt USB-A ports, and then there's an Anderson port here. You don't typically find these on the front of these portable power stations, so it's great that it has that option. This is a 12 volt rated up to 25 amps for a total of 300 watts maximum. You have your standard 12 volt car port here, some barrel ports, and then you have a light here that has a few different modes on it. The front display is crisp, looks very nice. It's got the state of charge in the middle, has input wattages on this side, as well as the time to charge it up to 100%. Over here you have output wattages, and then this time is the time to 0%. And then you have a number of other little icons that tell you information. It's got 2 handles on the side, makes it easy to carry around. This is what the top looks like. It is flat. There is no wireless charging pad up here, and you might be wondering, what are these things in the corners? These are padding because you can add expansion batteries to this system. This is 2 kilowatt hours in total inside of here, but you can add up to 12 kilowatt hours of storage capacity with this is the main brain and then the expansion batteries. The way that it connects in is over here on the side, and then you just flip this door down. And I like the fact that this door flips down, because on a lot of these power stations the door flips up, and it can get annoying when you're going to plug something in, the door kind of falls down or whatever, or you can't see the port because it's blocking it. But I like the fact that this one goes down. This is where the expansion battery or batteries would connect in. Here are XT60 ports. These are for solar. There are 2 of them. They go from 12 to 60 volts of input for a maximum of 600 watts, which means between these 2 XT60 inputs, you can get a maximum of up to 1,200 watts of solar input. Here's where you charge by the wall AC. There's a breaker here and a grounding screw. Another thing that I have not seen before on portable power stations is this. It's got a washable dust cover for the air intake to keep the battery cool. So that's kind of neat. The battery chemistry inside of here is lithium iron phosphate, and it's rated for 3,000 cycles. So what a cycle is when you start at 100%, drain the battery all the way to 0, and then charge it back up to 100%. That's one cycle. So 3,000 cycles, if you were to put a cycle on every single day, you're talking about 10 years of use. So very long-lasting chemistry inside of here. One of the accessories that comes with the 2200 is this cable. It takes a normal 120 AC plug on one side and converts it to a RV 30 amp style port on this side. Now, if you were to plug this in over here on these outlets, you're not going to magically get 30 amps. You're going to get maybe 20 amps maximum out of this because that's the maximum amperage of these AC outlets. Now, that may not be a big deal, but just so you know, you're not going to get 30 amps going to your RV if you use this plug. All right, let's find out how much this weighs. I have my scale running off of the AC port. Looks like we are at about 56 pounds. Something somewhat unique about this power station is that it comes with an included dolly. It's not an additional purchase. This thing works really well and locks the battery into place. It even has locking casters. You can see, I don't know if you can see, I've got some dirt on here. It's easy to pull through the yard and pull it over to my solar panels. It's got a telescoping handle here that goes all the way out, and then it lifts up like this. The battery sits in here in this little channel, and then it locks into place up here. And so the battery's not going to fall out. And it's very, like I said, easy to move this around. Now let's talk about charging. In the marketing material, it says it can charge from 0 to 100% in an hour and a half using the wall AC. I'm starting at 0%, so let's see how long it takes. At full speed, it looks like it's pulling about 14 amps or close to 1700 watts. And I was able to see it charge from 0 to 100% in under an hour and a half. My favorite way to charge is with solar, and here I have one of these 385 watt rigid solar panels connected to each of the ports. And since it's wintertime here in Pennsylvania, I'm not expecting much with solar, but in this case, I'm seeing about 460 watts of input, and it's saying with a state of charge of 32%, it will take about 3.3 hours to fill up the tank to 100%. So you saw that I had more solar panels that I could have connected into these ports down here, and the reason why I didn't do that is because I would be going over the 60 volt limitation on each of these ports, because if I put them in series, my panels are about 40 volts each. You add up the voltage when they're in series, that would be 80 volts for two of them, and it would be over that 60 volt limit. So a possibility, if you have larger solar panels, is to use this. This came with the UGREEN. It's for paralleling panels. There are two of them that it came with. It has XT60 connectors down here, and then there's one under this cover. What you do when you parallel solar panels is that the voltage stays the same, but you add up the current, the amperage. And so you just have to make sure that it doesn't go over the 60 volt limit for each of these or the 15 amp limit on each of these. And in my case, my panels are about 9 amps each, so I couldn't even parallel them for these ports. So I think the main reason they're designed this way is for more portable panels that are smaller in nature in amperage and voltage. So something else I discovered in terms of charging is that it doesn't seem to be able to dual charge. What that means is if you have it plugged into the wall here, and say you have a solar panel plugged into this XT60, it's going to only do one or the other. And if you have both of them plugged in like this, it's going to prioritize the wall AC. So the next test I want to do is sort of in between charging and discharging. Right now you can see it's inputting wall AC and the inverter is on. So it's inputting and outputting at the same time. The test that I want to do is a UPS test. So I have my laptop running. This laptop does not have a battery in it, so it's running completely off the inverter on the other side there. And I'm going to simulate a power outage by pulling out this plug here. And what I want to do is notice if anything flickers on the computer screen, basically how fast can it switch over from the wall AC that's passing through to the inverter side over to the battery. So let's do this. Keep a look on the screen. I didn't notice any flicker or anything. The fans calmed down because it was charging at full power, but the switchover time happened and it was imperceptible. Now let's talk about output, and I think one of the best ways to demonstrate the output on this device is to put it in sort of a real-life scenario. Say if you were to lose power at your home. So I wheeled it up here into my kitchen, and I've got a few things here to demonstrate this. I have my full-size refrigerator right here. It's plugged in. I'm going to turn that on first, but then I also have a kettle down here so I can boil water. I've got a laptop that I can be charging up phone that can be charging up, and a light. So some of the essentials I would think that you would want in a power outage. So let's keep an eye on the screen here. All right, I don't know if you saw it, it's spike in wattage, but the compressor on the refrigerator turned on. It goes up really high and then it goes back down, and it's kind of leveled off just above 100 watts. So let's add these other loads. So now I'm heating up the water to boil, I'm running the refrigerator, the light, and charging up these other devices, and our total output is just above 1200 watts. So what that means is this inverter can do double of all of these things right here. So in addition to boiling water, I could add a microwave, assuming it was under 1200 watts. I could run an induction cooktop to cook food, or add an Instant Pot. Now, if you are using those high wattage loads like a microwave or boiling water, just keep an eye on the wattage so you don't get over 2400 watts. So you could probably get away with using them at different times and still keep your refrigerator running. All right, so now let's see if we can test the maximum continuous output on the inverter. In addition to everything that was running before, I now have a space heater running. Whoa. Okay, I'm back. I thought there was smoke coming out of the space heater. It was actually just the steam coming out of the kettle. What I have going on right now is I have this on full, on high. The kettle is going, it's trying to boil the water. And you can see with everything on, I'm just under 2400 watts of continuous power. So just to give you a sense of what this thing can do, space heater on high, it's very hot, pointed at me. I'm boiling water, running a full-size refrigerator, lights, and charging all these things. Now on this next test, I'm definitely going to push the inverter past the limit, but I'm going to turn on the AC inverter and we'll watch what happens. All right, keep an eye over here. We're pretty close to 2400 watts. And I just added the space heater and it knocked it over the top. Next, I performed an AC efficiency test with a constant load of about 1550 watts, so pretty close to its charging rate. So for this test, I drained the battery to 0% and compared the output results with the stated capacity. And at the end, I saw about an 86% AC inverter efficiency. And this doesn't include getting all of the power out. The manual actually states that you can use the USB ports and the light even when the screen says 0% to access the remaining power in the battery. So UGREEN has a smartphone app that you can use to monitor and control your device with. It works with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Right now my phone is in airplane mode, so I'm using Bluetooth. You can see things like the state of charge, input and output wattages in real time, a number of toggle switches that you can turn things on and off with. And something that's a bit unique is the number of options that you have in the settings menu. There are a lot of them in here. I'm not going to explain them all, but a few things that I want to point out is when you click on a toggle switch, it gives you an explanation of what that thing does. So I really like that. You're not left guessing what this option does. Another thing is it has a self-diagnostic mode, so you can run a test to see, if there's a problem or not. And I've run this before and it comes back normal. And the other thing I always like to point out is that when you click on device management, you have the option to get a firmware update with the click of a button. And when I click on this, it's not going to work because it needs to be connected to the internet, which it's not. But if it was, then it would go and check to see if I need a firmware update. And if so, all I would have to do is click that button down there and it would update automatically. A few other things I didn't mention: it comes with a waterproof cover, nice carrying case with a bunch of cables, has a 5-year warranty. Now, how about some of the things that I like and perhaps don't care about with the PowerRoam 2200? So one of the things that I didn't mention earlier that I like probably the best about this power station is that it's very quiet. I've been using it at my desk to power my monitor, laptop, and some other devices. And because I test these power stations a lot, I notice if there's a lot of fan noise because it bothers me because my office is so quiet. And I realized the other day that I was like, wait a minute, I've been using this, I haven't noticed the fan. So very quiet power station. I really like having 4 USB-C ports. I also like that it comes with the trolley to easily move this whole thing around, and that it has the expandable options all the way up to 12 kilowatt hours of storage capacity. And my guess is that a number of people in the van life community will really appreciate having an Anderson port right in the front. Now, what about the things that I wish that were different with this model? One thing that I wish was different was right here. I wish there was one XT60 input and that the voltage was higher, because if you have rigid panels that have those higher wattages, it's really hard to parallel them to fit within these specifications. So if you're only using portable solar panels, it's really not going to be a big deal. But in my case, I would rather have a higher voltage input with one of these guys. And another small thing, even though there are many more options in the settings menu on the app, I wish there was an option to select the AC recharge speed. The only option is to choose the quiet mode, which it does make it quiet, but I would like the ability to select the input wattage. But overall, this is one of my new favorite portable power stations. I didn't even mention that. It's got a magnetic door that holds that up. It looks great. I've had no problems with it as I've been testing it and running it. And I, again, like the USB-C ports and how quiet it is. Post any questions you have about the PowerRoam 2200 down below, and thanks for watching.